Next on Worcester News Tonight, the popularity of craft beer continues to grow in the city, why Worcester is a hotspot for the industry. Plus, 10 candidates take the stage in the first 2020 Democratic presidential debate. A political scientist weighs in on some of the night's biggest topics. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Controversy at a city-led youth symposium when an organization gives a presentation the city describes as overly political. This week in Worcester reports, Planned Parenthood delivered the presentation to 15 summer youth workers at the Worcester Youth Development and Professional Leadership Symposium. The city says this was a mistake and the result of a miscommunication, releasing a statement saying the presentation was removed and discontinued from the overall curriculum as soon as we learned about its political advocacy content. Raquel Castro-Corazzini says the goal of the symposium is to provide training to summer employees on topics including leadership, workforce development, and youth family development. A recent study conducted ranks the city of Worcester as one of the best places to open a brewery in the U.S. In recent years, the city has seen multiple new breweries open their doors and embrace the craft beer scene. But why is Worcester Beer so popular in Worcester? Well, our Cam Jandro spoke with a local company today and has more. Cam?
Anna, Worcester finished in the top 30 out of hundreds of cities nationwide. They're at 26th right now, but when it came to number of breweries per 50,000 people, they finished dead last at 1.1. But some of the beer drinkers I talked to today say that is not a representation of how Worcester is in terms of how popular their craft beer is.
Flying Dreams Brewing Company started selling beer less than 4 years ago. A lot has and hasn't changed for them since then.
This is the same space that we're in. We have a tiny facility, but the demand for beer is growing everywhere.
Brewer Lee Chang says the spike in popularity is not unexpected. Flying Dreams is one of 5 breweries in the city. Chang cites Worcester's location and economic growth as factors behind the beer boom.
Worcester used to be a place where people would stop on their way to another destination, kind of like a pit stop, but now because it's growing in such a large city with a bunch of attractions, it's becoming the destination instead.
Thursday, the Bravehearts hosted a craft beer festival. Central Massachusetts breweries shared their creations with fans, including Worcester's Greater Good and Three Cross.
I've always loved Worcester, so it's nice to see people seeing us for all we have.
Beer drinkers say the local selection provides a different experience from mass-produced brews.
It has its own individuality to it a little bit, so that's why I enjoy it.
It's different every time. When you're talking about small batch processes, they taste a little bit different every batch.
None of the city's current breweries existed a decade ago. Since opening their Park Ave spot, Flying Dreams has also opened a tap room in Marlborough. Chang says he sees the popularity of craft beer staying for a while.
It's something refreshing, something that's new. People always want to find the next big thing. So craft beer drinkers they travel all over just to find it.
Now, Chang says while it could be viewed as competition, having more breweries in the city of Worcester is actually a good thing. It provides people more opportunities to experience and taste what Worcester is all about. Anna?
Now, Cam, there are a lot of breweries in the Boston area as well. Did they make the list?
Boston did, in fact, make the list. They finished a few pegs above the city of Worcester at 13th.
Awesome. A lot of good information, Cam. Thanks for that. City Manager Edward Augustus weighing in on the use of plastic recycle bags in Worcester. Wednesday night, the city's Standing Committee on Public Works voted 2-1, approving moving the idea of plastic bags forward. Augustus says they did a pilot program a few years ago with clear plastic recycling in different neighborhoods, and he says people loved it. He says it's a convenient system.
It also was noticeably cleaner in the neighborhoods that had the clear bag recycling. Things weren't blowing around the neighborhood. Things weren't left in a bin after it was emptied that then got around the neighborhood. So we think this is one way to make the neighborhoods cleaner throughout the city.
The item will go in front of City Council at their July 23rd meeting. Reno golf courses celebrated its newest edition Thursday. Some familiar faces were on hand at the golf course's driving range. City Councilor Christian King and State Rep Jim O'Day among the crowd showing off their swings. Head golf professional Matthew Moyson says the range gives them an opportunity to create more diverse programming.
One of the things that is important to me is finding the populations that have never had the chance to use the golf course or use the driving range, to bring them here, make them feel welcome, and to try it.
Moyson says the driving range will be affordable for families at just $4 per bucket of balls. 10 Democratic presidential candidates took the stage tonight. They follow the first 10 from last night. More than 15 million people tuned in to watch the first Democratic debate, which included Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
10 of the Democratic candidates for president faced off Wednesday night. It was part one of the first presidential debate of the 2020 election season.
It really served its purpose. It allowed you to get to know the candidates, especially some of the lesser known candidates who haven't been polling as high.
The candidates tackled a number of issues, including immigration, climate change, and healthcare policies. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren trying to unify Democratic support.
The fight still goes on.
Erica Cornelia Smith is a political science professor at Nichols College. She says some candidates came out with strong talking points, while others did not.
I think you can see on domestic policy, they're very, very close together. They all have very similar ideas about those key issues, which is a shame because I think foreign policy is one of the areas they debated last night where we started to see some differences in approach on regime change, foreign engagement.
President Donald Trump took to Twitter calling the debate boring. People who watched it had mixed feelings.
I thought that Liz Warren really stood out overall. I also thought that people that people really hadn't heard of stood out a little bit, like maybe Julian Castro.
They were all for socialism, free everything, let the illegals in. Who's going to pay for it? It's the younger generation who's going to pay for it.
Cornelia Smith says if a candidate wants to emerge moving forward, they need to have a defined identity and a clear message.
Candidates who are sort of muddling through and can't come out and have those very snappy talking points, they're really going to struggle to emerge when it comes to the Iowa caucuses when the primaries start.
10 more Democratic candidates will take the stage tonight, including Democratic frontrunner and former Vice President Joe Biden. In Worcester, Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
A new study says cell phone use may be causing bone spurs. It found certain postures could be leading to this condition, but some doctors are questioning the study. Our Gretchen LaRosa explains they found a lot of us have bad posture when using them, and over a period of time, it could actually change the skull's natural form.
Whether it's on my tablet or on my cell phone, you don't realize how often that we rely on these tools.
Heads tilted forward, peering into mobile devices. Many of us do it, and it's this posture which can lead to neck strain, pain, and even pressure on the spine. Orthopedic spine surgeon Michael Stoff says a recent study shows bone spurs could also form as a result.
A bone spur is basically increased amount of bone in a certain location where some type of soft tissue structure attaches.
He says sometimes having neck pain does not necessarily mean bones are growing in that location. It could likely be from inflammation of a tendon area.
It's somewhat surprising that a lot of the younger people that were in the study showed evidence that they had an increased amount of bone in that location.
The study examined hundreds of x-rays and found roughly 40% of people ages 18 to 30 years old who use their phones more than 4.5 hours a day are likely to develop the growth. Real estate agent Steve Miner says he has to be on the phone frequently for work.
I don't know if I could do less of it. I'm on my phone pretty much 24/7 for clients, so it'd be tough to, monitor it.
Miner says he hasn't had any problems, and Dr. Stoff and other medical professionals are a little weary of the researchers' findings.
The spine in the neck just below it is a multi-joint complex that could have plenty of other reasons or explanations for why people would have symptoms in that location.
Dr. Stoff says it's not clear whether bone spurs due to cell phone use will have any clinical significance. He says the bone would have to be pretty large to detect by touch. Gretchen LaRosa, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester Regional Airport will have different schedules for some of its flights starting this summer. American Airlines is resuming once daily service between Worcester and Philadelphia. Right now, they are only flying 4 days a week. Daily flights will leave Philly at 2:05 p.m. for Worcester and return to Philadelphia at 3:45 p.m. Delta Airlines is also starting their daily flights to Detroit on August 2nd. Becker College is hosting its annual video game summer camp for middle school girls. The 7th and 8th grade students are from the inner city and rural parts of New England. The week-long camp focuses on science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Organizers say the goal is to inspire a love for the topic and help girls turn it into a career path.
Because this is the third year we've done it, so each time they come in and they're playing on the computers, they always start off playing games. So I know that they're interested in gaming, so I like to, tell them about what we do here at Becker, because we have a pretty large undergraduate game development program. We also just launched a master's program in interactive media, so I like to tell them, if you have fun playing games, you can study games and you can make games when you get older.
Each girl will receive a free Android tablet to take home. They use it during the program to reduce and operate their games. A well-known Worcester band attracts a big crowd at Elm Park Thursday night. Chuck and Mud played a concert at Elm Park in the historic celebration. More than 100 people showed up as the band celebrated their 40th anniversary playing at the park. They helped kick off the Park Spirit Worcester Inc. Summer Concert Series. President Brittany Legacy says having Chuck and Mud play their opening concert is a great way to start the summer and hopes to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. So Park Spirit's putting on a series of 17 concerts this summer at 4 different parks, Elm Park being our headliner. So we'll be here every Thursday night with live local music.
Legacy says she was thrilled with the turnout and wants more people to enjoy the park and public spaces throughout the year.